include your audio. I'll quickly check on the Twitch and make sure it's actually... are you going to put a notification out on Twitter? That's the wrong app.
It should go out automatically.
Well, yeah, I forgot there's not a back thing, isn't there? But I am struggling to keep my... clear my throat at the moment. Just searched SLR and it just didn't come up. There we go. Yeah, it's up. Hello and welcome to the SLR SidePOD for episode 19. Of course, I have a bit of a different lineup for our, party today. It is, of course, iColumn76 as your host. I am joined by my honorary co-host, Owen. My actual co-host, Steve-O, is at the shops because he forgot to get milk. So, yeah, that's happening. Shortly. Yeah, he should be back. He should be back in a minute, so it should be fine. He'll go back to being co-host. He is sick, so yeah, if he has a bit of a weird coughing, I'm coughing at the moment because I'm prepared to drink and completely forgot about it. So that's gonna be a fun break in the middle of the discussion. And of course, I have Merx, who is one of our special guests today for the driver of the week. I will not announce why he's driver of the week yet, as that is an actual segment. We don't have an F2 driver of the week for some reason.
No F2.
No F2 last week. Yeah.
There was no F2. That explains it. Why wasn't there F2 last week?
Just there isn't in the calendar. That was Canada was one of the tracks that was skipped.
Oh, right. I see. Oh, is that what... Oh. Well, that's why we don't have things. I just realised I haven't put the actual things up for the race. Oh, no, I have. They're actually up. They're fine. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, we're doing France, of course, for the Wednesday race. Well, Ferraris immediately take the Renault off the line, and neither does the Haas. Yeah, I've just completely blanked what I was going to say because I keep coughing. Oh yeah, the topic this week is the Big Three of F1. That is the Big Three in teams, if you didn't realise. So of course, the Big Three being Williams, Ferrari and McLaren, being some of the longest serving teams, and with some of the highest wins, championships, and Constructor Championship title tallies, that's the word. We will be going over them. Hopefully, Steve will just come back and he said Scott for some reason. Yeah, so we don't have Ranga or Clock today, so someone else will be taking over the quiz. Hint, hint, to me. Yeah, we don't have Ranga for some reason. Did Ranga actually put in the chat why he's not coming today?
He's at reuni at the minute, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's
on
a bender or something. But stranger things.
Yeah, of course. We will be doing a slightly different schedule to last week. As I said, last week we will be changing the schedule each week to try and see what works. This week we will be doing one continuous topic instead of topic split up by driver of the week into the next topic. Steve should be back in a minute, but I'm going to start the topic without him anyway. Oh my god, why can't I stop coughing? It's great, I'm loving it. I am lost on what I was going to say now. I am. It's only Wednesday and it's been a long week. Working full time is great. Yeah, just a quick disclaimer, Steve was not in his lorry this week. He's actually at home, which is great for him because he has actual stable Wi-Fi. And he's not in a lorry, which, I'm not sure if he likes to be in the lorry or not, but...
Maybe
realistically he can't drink. Yeah, maybe he does. I don't know Steve-O enough to know if he's like loving living in the lorry sometimes. So yeah, it's it's gonna be a strange night. If I keep having to clear my throat like this, it's gonna be a very annoying night. Give me a second.
Oh.
There we go, that cleared my throat. Sorry, I had to like do a massive cough there just to try and clear it. Yeah, if you want, we can start with the topic, or if you think we should wait for Steve, I'll just comment on the
Might as
race
well
so far.
start it, why not?
Alrighty then. Of course, like I said, we will be talking about the big three of F1, which, like I said, is Williams, Ferrari, McLaren, and we will be talking about a couple other teams later on, as they are honourable mentions for some of the greatest teams. Let's start with Ferrari. Of course, one of the oldest teams in F1. Starting in, oh god, this is why we need clock, because I don't know these dates and I forgot to prepare.
Haven't they just been here from the start? Am I not right in saying that?
Yeah, they have
been in the
realistically
start
been there
since
from the
start of
start.
F1.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it's probably since about the 50s or something. That's, yeah, so as a diehard Ferrari fan, as most people are not at the moment, because of course Ferrari being it is, most people are not really in the Ferrari boat because it is acting like a literal boat on the track. It's really draggy, it's really annoying. The drivers are really... I like Charles Leclerc, but Vettel just annoys me.
Why's that?
Bold.
It's not... Wait, what? Did you say he's old?
I said bold.
Oh, old.
Just because I'm creating conversation.
Well, I don't like Vettel because I was a die-hard Fernando Alonso fan, and during the 2010 to 2013 era, of course, it was always Vettel versus Alonso and everyone else because it was a really close couple of seasons. I just never liked Vettel. Then he went to Ferrari, and I was like, Ferrari. Wonder what that'll do to him. And then he's shown for the last couple of seasons that he's a little bit down on where he realistically should be from the pace he showed at Red Bull. I think that's half to do with Ferrari being Ferrari, which we all know is strategically bad and unable to deal with drivers in a professional and nice way. And I'm saying this as a Ferrari fan. Like, I am a really big Ferrari fan, and I know how they are. Would like to quickly talk about some of their more popular drivers from the history books. Of course, cannot talk about Ferrari without talking about Niki Lauda, who unfortunately in a Ferrari got his life-changing scars. He, of course, went on to win, 2 championships with Ferrari and a championship with McLaren. But yeah, Ferrari and Lauda are a very common pairing, if you know what I mean. Of course, you can't really mention Lauda's career without mentioning a Ferrari. And of course, I would like to quickly give a shout out to Michael Schumacher, who is one of the most successful Ferrari drivers ever. Being was a 5-time world champion with... No, it can't be a 5-time world. Is it a 5-time world champion?
Yeah.
5.
2 with Benetton,
5,
2 with Benetton,
yeah.
5 with Ferrari.
Oh yeah.
You've ticked your box, haven't you, Stevie?
I have, yeah.
Oh my god, what's happening?
Sorry.
What's that?
That's the advert on Twitch.
Oh great.
my mistake. Turn that off.
So,
Sorry, carry on, mate.
lads. No, it's fine. I was just about to move on to talking to you about Ferrari. What are your opinions on Ferrari? What are your opinions on the history of Ferrari? And is there anything you would like to quickly discuss? The floor is yours.
Who wants to go first?
It's,
I've got a little bit.
It's 1951, by the way, when they joined.
Really? All right.
Yes, the second World Championship season, they joined.
That would kind of make sense with that.
That's why their 1000th race was 2 weeks ago. Or almost 2 weeks
I was thinking that because the 1000th F1 race was last season, wasn't it, in China?
There was there was only, I think there was only nine races or something like that.
Yeah, I want to say something.
In the first season, or so not very many. Yeah, it's like 9 points for a win back there. I would say Ferrari, obviously. Ferrari. They're the constant in Formula One, so it's obviously a shame to see them where they are, but with no doubt they'll be back where they belong. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for such a prestigious racing heritage that Ferrari has to see them, struggling. But unfortunately, that happens. One bad decision or one bad FIA call can ruin an entire team season. Realistically, it's happened before to Ferrari. It'll happen again, and it's just a fact of F1. Your car doesn't meet the regulations set out by FIA, you ain't having it. Which, as I've touched on in a previous podcast, and of course I think I can't remember who actually brought this up, but Ferrari's car this year was designed to match the engine power that it had, but of course with it being underpowered, the car doesn't react the same way as it did, so it kind of just bottomed out and died at the bottom of the grid. Struggling to keep the Williams at bay, which we know for the past 2 seasons has been relatively unsuccessful. So, that's an unfortunate thing for Ferrari at the moment. Steve, what would you like to say about Ferrari?
Well, see, I'm from an era of Williams, McLaren. I mean, when I first started watching F1, they had like John Lacey, Berger. It wasn't. They weren't a massive team then. I mean, obviously Ferrari. I mean, the name, is synonymous with, supercar, exotic, power. But I'm not really a fan myself. But I mean, look what they've done in F1. It stands for itself. But I'm not that fussed on them really. They're Italian. Starters, I'm a patriot, so I prefer the British myself. But they are what they are. I mean, F1 wouldn't. To say F1 without Ferrari would be weird. I think we'd get used to it, but I think it would be weird. I mean, I don't like all the reports, that they get more prize money and all that. I don't like that idea because I think, they did the same as everyone else, and they have done. I mean, you look at what Mercedes have done, just because they're Ferrari, just because of the history. Well, I mean, you think in 50 years' time, what people might say about Mercedes, will they be getting more because of that? It doesn't really sit right for me for that. But no, I mean, they've had some amazing drivers, amazing eras, amazing cars. But I wouldn't say I was a Ferrari fan, so probably the wrong person to ask.
I'm very much in the same boat as Steve. Me growing up, getting into Formula One, it was all basically Ferrari was the rival team of anyone that I supported. So, because I came in, I think I started watching F1 the same season Hamilton was his debut season, and a Brit and myself, I was 6 at the time. I wasn't didn't really understand, so I thought, he's from the same country as me, I like him, and so that kind of was stuck out. And I was always a big fan of Hamilton, Button when I was growing up, and they were in rival teams. So like Hamilton was in McLaren, and Ferrari was just, I don't know why, what happened to it. Maybe it was more when he moved to Mercedes, and then it became like they were the top two. I just wasn't a big fan of it. I don't think I was a massive fan of Vettel either. And then when he moved to Ferrari, that kind of just moved across and made it a little bit bigger as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I quite like Leclerc, a bit like what you were saying. I quite like Leclerc compared to Vettel. That was just how it's been. That could change it, like like a turn of a dime, basically. So as they say.
For me, go on, Steve. Were you about to say something?
I was just going to ask Owen. I mean, when he just mentioned Leclerc, what he thinks Sainz is going to do there with Leclerc, like whether he's going to be good enough to push.
I know what I'd want to happen, but I don't know whether it will happen. I'd love for Sainz to really challenge him, even beat him. But because I mean, I would say I'm most likely basically Sainz is my favourite driver at the minute. Out of the grid, so I'd love him to, just do a madness. But I don't know whether I'll see it because I still think Leclerc's probably a much better driver. He's shown, I think, just this season alone, compared to how bad the Ferrari is, he's a really quality driver. So I don't think it's. I don't know how it'll do. But we'll see.
I don't know though. If you look at this season, I mean, Sainz has been unlucky. But Norris has got better in his second year. I think Norris has got more raw talent than Sainz did when he was back in the Toro Rosso. So I think, and Leclerc is more likely obviously not next year because they'll still be a midfield team. But if they get a good enough car again, Leclerc is more likely to be a championship contender than Sainz is, in my opinion. Yeah. Unless Sainz can be more consistent, which is easier said than done. But obviously next year is going to be pretty terrible for Ferrari as well. So wait and see. But I guess when Schumacher joined, Ferrari were pretty rubbish then. So I guess they're always ebbs and flows, ups and downs.
But they took on Ross Brawn at the same time, though, didn't they? And that was it was the formula between the two that won them 5 championships.
Yeah, I think
as Ferrari got that now, that's the point.
Yeah, he joined '96, didn't he? And they didn't win a drivers' championship till 2000. So and they obviously haven't won a drivers' championship since Kimi Räikkönen. So
no,
even if they should have won in 2017 and 2018.
They realistically should have been pushing even a bit more in, like, I know a lot of people say that Fernando Alonso absolutely drove the absolute dog out of that Ferrari in 2012?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2010 they was close as well. 2010 was when they had he was stuck behind, who was it, Petrov was it, or someone like that, when he was stuck behind him the whole race and couldn't get past, and he lost the championship to Vettel. Vettel was third or fourth in the championship going into it, and he won it and took the championship off him. So
that was the only time he led the championship.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so they have been close, but I think Sainz might surprise some people. I think Sainz.
Yeah,
I hope he does.
I mean, he gave. I mean, Max Verstappen. Yeah, he moved up when they were both at Toro Rosso. He moved up, but I think Sainz matched him. The problem is he was at McLaren. He went to McLaren, and McLaren were still building, still working their way up, and it's a completely different thing. It just depends whether Ferrari's going to have a car in 2022 with the new regulations, which is what they're saying they will. So, time will tell.
See, I think Sainz was pretty good in Renault before he went to McLaren. Because, of course, he went from Toro Rosso to Renault for a season, then moved to McLaren. And I think he was quite quality in the Renault. Of course, the Renault was still very off pace of the top 3, which, of course, at that time were Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari. But yeah, he did show some good performances against the rest of the midfield. Then, of course, I think he will be a challenger for Leclerc in Ferrari next season, but I put most of my stock on Leclerc still being the better driver at the end of the season. But of course, I've been proven wrong before, and I will of course be proven wrong again eventually. But I still definitely believe Leclerc is the better commodity when it comes to Ferrari at the moment in time. But you know what Ferrari is like. They want to seem fair, but of course, I have a feeling they won't
Won't
be.
always end up that way.
Yeah. We're just
Can't promise anything just yet though, so we'll
yeah,
see.
you can't. Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see when it comes to Ferrari over the next couple of years. Hopefully they'll be back to fighting fit for 2021. Their long history and heritage in Formula One, of course, would lead you to believe they'd be a much more stronger team consistently and a bit more knowledgeable when it comes to strategy and stuff. But oh well, that's for another day. And of course, we've been talking about Ferrari for 15 minutes. So let's move on to a different team, one of the other of the big three. I'm of course talking about McLaren. McLaren recently, from about 2015, have been rebuilding after a woeful 2014, then an absolute dog 2015, 16, 17, and 18. 2019 was a good start for them, rebuilding, and then this year, 2020, has been a good year, realistically, for them. A couple podiums and some good, strong points finishes. A push for first in the Italian Grand Prix at oh, please don't forget the name of the circuit. Monza, that's what it's called. Oh, why am I such a bottle? Can't believe I forgot the name of this Monza. No, that's been a long day. Yeah, McLaren. It was a shame to see them so down after what is literally one of the best histories of any F1 team ever. They joined in the 70s, of course, with a couple strong starts. Of course, they had a title winner of James Hunt, who, of course, tragically left the team a couple of years later and left the spot at the same time. Of course, again, Niki Lauda, Alain Prost, they were at McLaren. Can't forget the wonderful and late Ayrton Senna, who, of course, died in the next team we're going to talk about, but that's for a different time. One of the most successful McLaren drivers ever to race. Died way too early, and then, of course, yeah, McLaren didn't win from, 91 till 98?
99.
98. 98, Mikaka.
98.
98, 99
yeah,
as well.
Yeah, 99. Yeah,
of course, I don't think the next championship win was until 2008.
Yeah, that's it.
If I'm correct, with Lewis Hamilton,
Yeah.
who was the last championship winner of McLaren. They've had some great drivers in their lineup, of course. David Coulthard, who a lot of people say is better than I think he is, but that's just me being more cynical of people than I really should be. I can't remember who else has driven for McLaren. I've just had a complete mind break of who the hell actually drove for McLaren.
Jenson Button.
Jenson Button, that's his name.
Yeah.
Flippin' hell. Of course, the single world champion Jenson Button raced for McLaren for quite a number of years, then dedicated to the team right up until his departure in 2016. God, McLaren. I personally think
Bruce
of the
McLaren.
team-
Did you have him in there? The
that's kind of obvious with McLaren.
yeah. Well, wouldn't be McLaren without him, so.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, of course, mate. I do, yeah. I know what you mean. I'm just stupid. You should know this by now. I'm not exactly smart. This podcast proves it week after week. But yeah, McLaren started off from humble beginnings in New Zealand, where Bruce McLaren, the Kiwi himself, created the team. Was the first driver as well as a team owner and driver. To then, of course, become a very, very successful team with a great heritage and a great history of great drivers. Yeah, it's. I personally love the team. I've hated to see it actually go down in 2015 after the abysmal 2014, where it was literally only kept afloat realistically by the Mercedes engine. So, it's my fault. I'll open the floor to the rest of yours. Start with Mercs this time. What is your opinion on McLaren?
Well, being a relatively new F1 fan to everyone else in here, I don't know. Obviously, the Honda years kind of backfired because they wanted it to be how they were back in the 80s and with Prost and Senna. Obviously, Prost left for Ferrari, but yeah, with the Senna at the helm, the McLaren Honda was obviously like the Mercedes of nowadays. So obviously that didn't work. Now they've gone to Renault. It's got better Mercedes engines again, like they were when Hamilton won the championship. And obviously McLaren could have won the championship in 2010 if things had gone their way. So I think the Mercedes engines will help. As McLaren, I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a fan or whatever. I'm not really a fan of teams, nonetheless. I'm a fan of Lewis Hamilton. Obviously, he drove for McLaren, but I only started really watching the sport religiously in 2016, and McLaren weren't exactly that great. First race I watched fully, Alonso went flipping into the gravel trap. So,
was that at Australia?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I hope the Mercedes engine works because they deserve to be fighting with the likes of Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull. Even if you get Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, Renault, McLaren, and the likes, obviously you want it to be closer, but I think if you can make it into a four-way battle, let's say, minimum, then obviously it's only a one-way battle at the moment, really, or one-way battle and Max Verstappen. So if McLaren can get back up there, then there's two more drivers. Obviously Ferrari will get that back up there. You'd like to see McLaren back up there. Like you say, it's 2008. Obviously in the early 10s they were okay. I say okay, they're pretty decent, but they haven't won since Jenson Button in 2012. So something needs to change, and hopefully the Mercedes engines will help because Mercedes got the best engine on the grid and probably will do for the foreseeable future. So I think McLaren are becoming a better team. Obviously having Alonso in there, I don't know. Alonso and Honda just didn't work. So I think McLaren are going to come back. I hope.
I'm not sure if you just said Alonso's going back to McLaren.
No, I was saying Alonso and Honda didn't work. I was just saying Alonso, and when Alonso obviously went to McLaren, it just didn't work. Obviously, he went back to McLaren because he was there for a one-season wonder back in 2007, where he could have easily won the championship himself. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think him and Lewis Hamilton bottled it because they just didn't want each other to win.
Yeah, I guess Hamilton bottled it because he drove into the gravel trap. So,
which I'm as someone who doesn't particularly like Lewis Hamilton, I'm quite glad of that fact. But anyway, let's not rile up Rango when he watches this back.
Yes, we can do all we like now. He's not here.
Owen, what's your opinion of McLaren then?
Well, I mean, Merck's explained basically almost like the recent history of McLaren perfectly, because that's pretty much from when I started watching this. Relatively young, and I don't know a massive amount, but yeah, in terms of like just my personal feelings towards them, they always kind of just had this kind of soft spot for them, because that was kind of, yeah, that was the team, that first team that I was like, hey, that's quite nice, I like them. I think if I remember rightly, I quite liked McLaren cars growing up as well. I don't know if that's just a really random thing, but I was just always, don't know why, but I just like the McLaren road car, so to speak. I just really liked them. That might have swayed my way towards them. Yeah, then I didn't really care all that much, and I became quite a big, Red Bull fan. A long time ago, not too long ago. But I haven't really had like a special team that I've really fancied until it's more been I've been following a driver, and then I like that team because of the driver. But at the minute, I would say they're probably one of my favourite teams on the grid, if not my favourite team at the minute. Just the chemistry that the two drivers have is just ridiculous at the minute. It's quite sad to see him drawn up, but then it's exciting to see how they do next season with Mercedes engines and Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, I think Daniel Ricciardo will be a pretty good addition to the team. It's going to be a weird dynamic with him and Lando, though, because they're both the goofball kind of drivers, so yeah, it's going to be a weird dynamic. I think Daniel Ricciardo will know his place in the team and will try and stick to it, but I think Lando will possibly show his youth and naivete a bit and sort of stand his ground against Ricciardo. I don't know. It's just,
I don't think
to me
so.
personally, it's a weird.
It's going to be fun.
Think it's a weird pairing. Yeah, it's going to be a fun pairing, but it's also going to be weird to watch the chemistry on track and off track. So, just have to wait and see what happens.
I guess if you look at Lando and Carlos now, though, they're quite. Well, they're obviously good friends off track, but obviously once the helmet goes on, once they're on the track, they're pretty different. Ricciardo and Verstappen were good mates off the track. You saw that, and then once the helmet or the visor goes down, so to speak, they're just different people. So they'll be competitive for sure. Ricciardo's in his prime, so. And Norris will be in his third season by then, so probably as long as the car's good, I think they'll be good.
So Steve-O, last but not least, what's your opinion on McLaren?
Always last, mate. Always last. No, I think I think that's a very shrewd move from McLaren taking Ricciardo. He's a proven winner of races, and I think Norris will learn a hell of a lot more off him than Sainz. And I also think that they'll get on off the grid, but I think the respect will be there. I think that's the point with what's impressed me the most out of with Norris. Really, he hasn't gone in there. He's shown respect for everyone and every aspect of the team and everything. And I think that's really credit to him. Yeah. You know, being the age he is, being thrown into a team like McLaren. I mean, the history of them. I mean, like I said, when I first started watching Formula One, it was Senna and Prost and McLaren. It was, it was amazing. I mean, amazing battles. Senna going around Monaco. I mean, what was I 7? And it was, to see it was like, oh, this is amazing. This sport of speed and that. And I think that McLaren stuck with me then. Because like I said before, Ferrari didn't have. I mean, they had good drivers, but they weren't as well-known drivers as other ones, but I think McLaren. I mean, no, I'm a massive fan of McLaren. I always have been. I followed them. Probably my favourite car out of any car is the '98 and '99 winning West. The black and silver. It was the first time McLaren went silver. It was
beautiful car
to look. Yeah. And obviously then Hamilton in his rookie year, it was like, this is to see a rookie come in. And win races. It was unheard of. You didn't see it. You did not see. I mean,
Yeah.
he was. You didn't see rookies come in and do what he did, and it changed. It kind of changed a lot of what Formula One was really back then, and I think it was good. So yeah, and then from that season became a big Hamilton fan. So yeah, well, McLaren and a big. I was always a big Jensen fan because I like the way that, like Norris, I like the way that he conducted himself. You never heard of him outside of the grid and got on with everyone, respectful, honest, great racer. I mean, what a driver! Smooth and everything. And I think winning the World Championship, he could have easily stayed as Braun went to McLaren like they wanted him to, but he wanted to test himself against the best, and he thought at that time, which I suppose it would have been, McLaren was the best. So that says it all for to get a world champion, to get the previous 2 world champions in the same team, and also if you look at that, most other teams, I think you would have had fireworks. You would have had. I mean, look at Vettel and Webber. Look at most teams that don't have a 1 and 2. Like Ferrari always had the 1 and 2 of Alonso and Massa and Schumacher, Barrichello. They knew their place. Whereas you had 2 world champions, and you never ever heard of any bad stuff on and off the track.
Well, there was a couple
really.
Incidents, but yeah.
But there was resolved.
It.
I mean, look at Canada. Look at that race win that Jenson Button, probably the best race. Voted one of the best races ever, where he came from last to win in that wet.
I'll take it from Steve just quickly because just quickly about McLaren. I would like to bring up a quick parallel between the 2007 season and the 2019 season. They brought in a tested Spaniard from Renault against a British rookie. Tell me which season that was from. That quote was from. If you don't say both of them, then you're wrong. Because in both seasons, there was a tested Renault driver from Spain put against a British rookie.
Yeah, 2007 and 2019.
Yeah, it's quite good.
So, yeah, like what I wanted to quickly delve on before I move on to Williams. Like Steve was saying, Jenson Button came in and he wanted to test himself against the best. He nearly won that championship in 2010 after winning the championship in 2009. He was second in the Drivers' Championship behind Vettel. And whether or not you think of him as a good driver or a good person, he proved himself many times. The win in Hungary in the relatively unpaced Honda, or was it the BAR then? I can't really remember, but he proved himself in some machinery that may or may not have been, on par. But yeah, a relatively amazing driver in my books. Shame he won 1 championship, but he stuck with McLaren. McLaren, treat him nicely, and yeah. So just quickly, I would like to quickly move on to Williams. Now, this team is my favourite team that I didn't like because of a driver. I like Williams because Williams is just a fantastic team. It has a great heritage. It has had some of the greatest drivers ever. Nigel Mansell, of course, Ayrton Senna died the year he joined Williams, which was really, really unfortunate. We've had the likes of Nico Hulkenberg. God, I am struggling in my brain.
Jacques Villeneuve?
I think Jacques Villeneuve. God, why didn't his name come up immediately? Damon Hill, of course, a great driver. The first actual winner in a Williams car, well, not a winner of a race, a winner of a Drivers' Championship, was Nico Rosberg's dad, Keke Rosberg.
Keke Rosberg.
And
Alan Jones won it
Oh yeah, Alan Jones,
Was
of
it?
course.
in
Alan
1980.
Jones won
was.
first?
Alan
Yeah,
Jones
Alan
was
Jones,
an Australian
Australian.
weapon.
Ah, right, yeah. I always
Isn't that
think Alan Jones won after. Jesus.
Yeah.
Shows how rusty I am when it comes to the facts. Williams, of course, since about 2000 has declined. 2012, of course, the team won with the absolute legend himself. Oh my lord, how can I not remember his name?
Who's this?
Am I literally that dumb? Won in
Who are you on
2012, known as the Crash Lord.
Oh, passed
Oh,
it on.
Maldonado. Yeah.
Maldonado, flipping hell! What is up with me tonight? Yeah, Maldonado, the last winner for Williams. Arguably shouldn't have been the last winner for Williams after the amazing 2014 car, which really was deserving of its, I think it got 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship. Might have been 4th, I can't really remember, but it was a beautiful car. It was Williams and Martini just made a beautiful pairing with a beautiful car and beautiful livery. It was just a beautiful looking car. I don't think that any of their other, of course, liveries apart from the camel livery can really compare to the beautiful white of the Martini logo. Just
Apart from the noses
beautiful car.
in 2014.
Yeah.
True. That does let the car down just a little bit, but all the Martini liveries were amazing. I started playing the games in 2017. Both of my cars in the league races I actually raced in were Williams. So I really got to know that Williams. I did a realistic league, and it was just a beautiful car in the game, and it was a beautiful car. Which got the last podium with Lance Stroll, Williams, at the Baku Grand Prix. I don't know what your opinions of it, but of course I love the team. So start with Owen this time. What is your opinion on Williams F1?
You say me, sorry.
Yeah.
What can I say? I mean, they've been known forever as one of the staple names in Formula One, as you'd expect. They're one of these big three that we're talking about today. And as you said perfectly again, they've just had a massive decline over the last few years, which has been quite unfortunate for them. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know what was it. Maybe I can't remember. Was it like some sort of financial problem? Was the reason behind it? I don't know, but.
The decline in actual performance was due to they got a new technical director who was actually just from Toro Rosso, and it ended up that he designed a car which was aerodynamically flawed because he put a principle in that didn't actually work with the designs they had. So he was putting on designs that didn't actually work with the car he had designed. So yeah. It ended up being a very, very slow car and very draggy, which it still is because they haven't fully fixed the problems with the car. But it has, of course, come back this year as being a challenger for Ferrari, realistically a challenger for top 10 constantly. It's just a couple of course, rookie mistakes from both Latifi, a couple of mistakes from Russell, because of course, first time properly racing with people in an F1 car. I mean, that doesn't really make any difference, but it's just, yeah, I think that Williams is on for points this season. Like an actual good point this season,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it must be said that their quali pace is something completely different to their race pace, because their race pace hasn't been great. I don't know what, as you said, it might be down to the driver error, but it just looks like in a race condition that car has not been as good as it has been over one lap, which is quite unfortunate. Yeah. But maybe it's like a heavy fuel problem, who knows. But I kind of always felt just a bit sorry for him, just because, especially for the last
Yeah.
couple of years, they've just been right at the bottom, nowhere near anybody else. And you always just see him, and you just kind of have a little bit of just feel a bit sorry for him. So, yeah, I mean, with was it Darlington coming in? Is that what it's called? I can't remember. Something like that. They look.
Doralton.
With the what, sorry?
Doralton.
Yeah.
Doralton Capital. That's the one.
Yeah. They look in. That looks quite interesting. Hopefully, so they can get some. And of course, there's no more Claire and Frank at the team as well, which is quite big.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, yes, New Horizons for them. They might be able to just challenge that a little bit more and maybe get consistent points. I mean, that's going to be a bit of a struggle in itself too. As well, as you say, it's
Yeah.
going to be a very interesting couple of years, hopefully.
It's definitely going to be weird not having Williams in F1.
The family. Yeah, the Williams
Well,
family.
no, the brand, isn't it? I mean, it's not going to be called Williams after they go, is it? Or if it is, it's not going to be for
No,
long.
it's still no. They're still keeping it as Williams. That was
Yeah,
part of the
but
deal.
that's only going to
Stays
but
as
that's
Brit.
not going to that's only going to be for a couple of seasons, and then it'll be gone because there's no way.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it
There's
does
no way
eventually
they're going to
end
keep
up
that.
changing.
You know,
I hope not, but
because it's not.
I hope not. With the if they
don't
did
think it
change
will.
it, I think there would be a major outcry because
They won't
Williams,
change Williams. There's
as
not a chance
itself
for that.
is, yeah, Williams as a brand is more valuable than actually changing the name. Because Williams is one of the most known F1 teams. But
Yeah,
of
granted,
course, you know, big
Few
companies.
years- yeah, that's what it is.
assholes,
It'd be
so-
big. Yeah, that's what it'll be. That's what it'll happen. I think. Maybe I'm cynical, but I just think the Williams brand or the Williams name will be out of F1 over the next few years, which would be a massive shame.
Anyone else have any more opinions on Williams? 'Cause-
I don't know. I think it's obviously quite sad how they're at the back. Well, they kind of just slowly declined to the back. They weren't that great before 2014. I remember 2013. I don't think was spectacular, as far as I can remember. But yeah, I think obviously you had Montoya, BMW, Williams, and then yeah, I mean that was only then in the mid 2000s where they were pretty decent, and then 2014 obviously they were good. 2012 they got their last race win, but then before then it was Jacques Villeneuve, Damon Hill.
Yeah.
It's really, yeah, the 90s were last time really, obviously 80s as well. 80s and 90s were really Williams era almost, where they were
Yeah.
up there.
It was in the early
but yeah.
90s.
Yeah,
I mean, one thing about Williams is you've got to take your hat off to them being an independent and not a works team, and they were pioneers. I mean, Patrick Head was, an amazing designer, and
Yeah.
I think because that was why the car was so good in '94, and then obviously '95, '96 when they brought in electronic. There was something electronic that kind of
It was driver
Basically,
aids they wanted to take away.
yeah, but it was
They took away a lot of the
brilliant,
like
so much
driver
more
aids.
than ever.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. I mean, I think back to Mansell, PK, the battles they had, and it's,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean Williams is F1 for me. I mean more so than Ferrari, in my opinion, in my lifetime of what I was into. McLaren, were the teams up there being the Mercedes or the Red Bull of this generation. Memories.
Yeah. Well, we've now talked about the big three. Just before we move on to Driver of the Week and then, of course, the quiz, would like to quickly just give some honourable mentions to first Lotus, a pioneer in the development of cars in the 70s and 80s. They actually, not the double diffuser, ground effect car. It was a revolutionary car that realistically shouldn't have been banned, as it was just an amazing feat of design. They pioneered some of the greatest looking cars with the John Player special gold and black livery. If I remember correctly, they're like the 5th most successful team in F1. And then, of course, I would like to also give an honourable mention to Mercedes, who, since they restarted in 2010 after, what was it, 57 years of not being in the sport, something like that?
It was 57 years win to win, so I think it was slightly less.
Yeah,
than that.
win to win.
Probably about 50 years between the
well, 57 years from their last win to their first win, back in 20. They didn't win in 2010, did they? They won in 2011.
2012, China.
2012. No, 2013, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Nico Rosberg at China in 2012.
Yeah, it was 2012. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And then, of course, after the move to Mercedes in 2013, Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg went on to dominate for a couple of years, as Hamilton took 2014 and 2015 World Championship. World Champion. Oh, what do I say? What championship? Nico Rosberg, of course, then took 2016, and of course the rest is history, as Nico left at the end of 2016 for Valtteri Bottas to then step up in 2017, who has challenged him, but Lewis Hamilton, of course, has won the rest since then.
Can I just say something? Going back to Lotus.
Go ahead.
I was looking through, and the world champions that they had. I mean, caliber of driver. They had great Jim Clark, Graham Hill,
Jim Clark,
Jochen Rindt, and Mario Andretti. I mean, there's some massive names in, from the eras. I mean, it just shows what a great team that would have been, in the 60s and 70s.
I mean, Mansell got a start in Lotus.
Yeah.
Nigel Mansell's first team was Lotus.
As well, I believe. Was
Senna, yeah. He drove for Lotus. It's a shame that they're not on the grid anymore, because of course it would have been great to still see them racing. But of course, their revamp in 2010. Yeah, 2010. No, it was 20. Oh god, I can't remember the date of when they actually rejoined, but they of course went back on and did quite well. One of the most famous lines Kimi Räikkönen has ever said was in Lotus. So yeah, thank you for talking with me about the topic. We will now move on to Driver of the Week, just so we can keep on a bit of a schedule. Of course, we have the Driver of the Week here in the pie today. Mercs, congratulations, mate, on Driver of the Week.
Thank you.
Hold on, I literally had it up and it's for some reason it's gone down. So of course, I'm going to read out what has been said on the actual official post on the Driver of the Week thing on Discord. I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but after being nowhere most of the race and at the back at a late safety car comes and closes the pack, then allowing him to climb to 4th after pens have been allocated. Congratulations to Mercs for an amazing drive.
Yeah.
Don't sound so sure about that.
I mean, amazing drive is probably the opposite of what I would have called it without that safety car, because that was probably one of the worst drives myself that I've done in my league racing career, in terms of outright pace. Qualified P20 on outright pace, even though I invalidated my last lap. Still would have got me through, but yeah, and then I was making my way through the pack slowly, and then got involved in an incident trying to avoid another car and spun into that car, then dropped me to the back, and I think I remember seeing on the timing screen when I was going down the back straight, I was 25 seconds off Zydrad, who was 16th place at the time. This was like lap 10, 11 or something. So yeah, I was quite far behind. And then, yeah, I think just stuck it out. It was a safety car. Had to go on the hard, so I used 2 mediums, and the softs were never going to make it, so that bunched the field back up. But then I was sitting duck basically, and I was struggling at the back of the field. I was last in terms of people still in the race.
Yeah.
And then lap 31, I think I want to say something like that. Or lap 30, something like that. Anyway, one of those. Safety car came out, so fresh set of softs, and yeah, to the end. And well, I knew I was in a good position. I did pick up a penalty on the final lap, but it didn't matter at the end of the day because it didn't even change my finishing position. Yeah, it was just, I don't know. I would say luck, but it wasn't luck that I kept it clean and only got 1 penalty the entire race. I only got 3 warnings the entire race, so I wasn't in the points the entire race. I crossed the line P11 in the end. I did like a double overtake on the back straight. But yeah, I knew that even if I didn't do that double overtake, I'd have still finished up there, and just happened to be 4th place on the day. I think I'll probably get moved down to 5th because I think Cider had a timing glitch, so I assume I'll be 5th. But even 5th was, 10 points is better than 0, which was what I was getting for 35 laps of that race. So just happened that everyone else got penalties ahead of me, so I locked in. So I guess the moral of the story is keep it clean.
Were you a bit surprised when you kind of went over the line and just suddenly you shut up the field? Were you surprised by that? Or?
I expected to move up some positions because obviously I was in a party with Jam, Ryan and Mitzi, and I knew Mitzi had penalties ahead of me, so he was going to go behind me, but I ended up overtaking him anyway. Dylan ahead of me, I knew had penalties. I think he was in the party also, but yeah, I knew he had penalties. Ham told me that Snipes had quite a few, so I was like, well, I'm definitely going to finish ahead of him. And then I think I don't know. I expected to move up. I expected to get points. I just didn't expect it to be top 5 or top 4 as it was.
Yeah.
But just one of those days. I think last season luck was not on my side, so it's nice to get some luck for once.
Yeah, of course, you were voted unluckiest driver last season, weren't you? So
yeah.
Good to see.
Well then, quickly moving on to the quiz after hearing from Merckx. Congratulations to you. Yeah, the quiz is not going to be done by Clocks this week, so it's not actually Clocks' quiz.
Hello.
It is Callum's quiz. Woo! It's not as hyped as what No, it's not. Steve was probably sad because it's not Clock doing it.
No. Let's just test you. Let's see. I reserve judgment to see what you like first before I slag you off. But you have got.
Nice.
To fill.
I've got big boots to fill.
You have, mate. You have.
I don't know how to do a Swedish accent, so I'm not even going to try. Because I
Don't
was going to try and do a Swedish accent.
So just say shat, and every time you say
Oh, yeah. So, let's move on to the quiz. We have 5 questions prepared by Clock. So technically he is the creator of the quiz. I'm just the reader of the quiz. So start with question 1. How many constructors? Oh, he spelt it wrong. How many constructors? What the hell? Oh, he's put an A. He's put how many A titles do McLaren, Williams, and Ferrari have? It's how many constructors' titles does McLaren, Williams, and Ferrari have? Not all together. I want individual constructors' title championships for both Ferrari, Williams, and McLaren.
Well,
anyone want to start off guessing?
So we're just having a random guess.
I'll do Ferrari first. Let's do Ferrari. Well, how many do you believe Ferrari has in constructors?
In constructors, I don't know. I could guess at least. I think.
I'll just go with the closest answer, mate. So take a wild guess.
Well, I mean, I haven't really studied that much. I think. I think Freeman was Ferrari back in season 3.
Oh, this is real life Ferrari, not the SLR.
Oh, SLR. Okay. Real life Ferrari.
Oh, that's another question though. That might be good.
I was going to say. I'm 16.
Okay,
Oh.
Owen.
That'd be a good guess. I was gonna go for around that. 50.
Might be more than
I'm
that.
gonna go for 18.
It might be more than that. You might be right with that.
Okay. Steve-O?
Just Ferrari.
Yeah, how many constructors titles do you think Ferrari has had?
God, that is tricky. I'm going to go with 16.
Both Merckx and Steve are correct. They have won 16
What?
constructors title
Oh, sorry,
championships.
did you say 16? Sorry, mate.
It doesn't matter. We're both right. I don't care.
I would have. Well, yeah, no, fair enough. Sorry, mate. For some reason, I thought you said 11. I don't know where the hell I got that from.
Ferrari F1 has won 16 constructors championships. How many has Williams won?
They probably have 11 drivers, Ferrari or something stupid like that. Williams. Well, I doubt Williams have 16.
Ferrari have the most, don't they?
Ferrari must have the most.
Ferrari
16.
does have the most, yes.
Ferrari has 16. What would Williams have? They didn't last time they won. It was like in the 90s. I'm gonna say 6. Doesn't sound very many, but
Okay.
It's quite
So
funny.
6 for Merckx.
I'm gonna go 2 above Merckx again. I'm gonna go for 8.
What's this for? Williams.
How many Williams constructors titles?
Constructors. Ooh. Well, I might as well go 7 then. I'm not going to copy Merckx on this one.
I still laugh at 6.
Well, none of you are right.
okay.
For one.
Well, we're probably miles out.
Owen is the closest on 8, so he gets the point on that one.
It was more.
They've
than
actually
that.
had 9 constructors
No.
championships titles.
Okay.
Wow.
So they've had 9, and they're the second highest. How many's McLaren had?
Wow. 2007
I love
was
Clock.
it? I think 2007 must have been the last one, but they've been quite spread out. 2, 3. They would have had they'd have had some in. They can't be that far behind Williams. I'm gonna say 7.
Okay, Merckx says 7. Owen?
Sorry, I was on the Discord probably saying. Is it McLaren now?
How many does... yeah, McLaren.
The day of more than Williams.
No, Williams is the second highest, I've already said.
Oh right, okay. I'm gonna say. I reckon there's only one difference. I'm gonna go for 8 again.
You're gonna go for 8, Steve-O?
Ooh, I was going to go 8.
Aha.
You can go 8 as well. You can choose the same number.
No, let me have a little think. Right, McLaren. I'm going to go I'm gonna go 6.
You're gonna go 6. Owen is right again with 8. 1 below
Oh, I
Williams.
should have gone.
Bang
Wow.
it again. My guessing's top notch at the minute.
Yeah. So Ferrari have 16 constructors. Williams has 9. McLaren has 8. So that was it for the first question. I would have struggled on that one if I'm honest.
I missed one
So,
out. I
on
was
to-
thinking 2007, 80, 98, 99, and then I was like 88 to like 91 or something like that. And then I was like 7, and obviously must have been some other one before that. I must have
Okay,
been
then.
Louder or something. Louder and Prost in 84, I reckon, was the other one.
Hang on,
Yeah.
I got it here. Hang on.
I reckon Louder
What
and
year?
Prost in
What year?
84 must have been.
Hang on, I'm in 60s. The first one was 74 with Fittipaldi, McLaren 4,
Oh, really?
and then
Wow.
Niki Lauda in 84 McLaren Tag, Alan Prost
Yep.
in 85 McLaren Tag,
Yep.
88 with Ayrton Senna, 89
Yep.
with Alan Prost, 90 with Ayrton Senna, 91 where Ayrton Senna won it,
And then
98 with Mick Hakkinen, of course, got Mick Hakkinen. But Ferrari won it in 99 when Mick Hakkinen won.
oh yeah, because they got 6 in a row, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that was it. Yeah, they didn't win it in
No,
07. Ferrari won it, and 08 Ferrari won it as
That
well.
must have been close in 07.
Yeah, it must have been.
Didn't they get second and third in the?
That's what I thought. They were both 1 point off the
Yeah.
championship.
Well, that's what this says on Wikipedia, so it might not be true.
Washed up.
All right, lads.
Wikipedia.
I'm gonna have to. For the sake of time, I'm gonna have to start moving these on to the next question, lads.
Let's do it.
So, in what year did the teams debut? That is McLaren, Ferrari, and Williams.
Oh yeah.
What
Wow,
year
Clarified
Ferraris.
earlier.
Team
Merckx
that-
clarified earlier was 51.
Ferraris. They're 51, yeah. Yeah. Ferrari's
So-
1951.
I'm going to go McLaren 72.
Okay.
I was going to go a
McLaren.
little bit earlier. I was going to go 68. I'm
I was going to say
60.
60s.
Okay.
Yeah, it might have been 60s actually.
But I want to say
Yeah.
something like 60. I want to say something like 64. But I might be wrong completely there.
Okay.
That sounds really
What
early
about
now
Williams?
you said that. Williams only had 40 years a couple of years ago, so 40 years would be 80, 70, so it'd be something like 1979?
I'm going to say
I'm going to go
77.
80.
79,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think.
going to go 80.
According to what clock is put here,
Yeah.
McLaren debuted in 1966.
Oh, that was close.
Ooh, yeah,
I was
cool.
I was about to say that and went earlier. Great.
I thought you were
Ferrari
about to say
actually
66
debuted.
and go two beneath me again.
Ferrari actually debuted in 1950. However, due to them missing a couple races that season, it actually meant that they missed enough to it only just being their 1000th Grand Prix the last time we went out. So, Williams. Okay, Williams is a special one because Williams technically debuted in 1977, but they did not race under their own team. They raced as a custom March. So it was a custom
rubbish.
March livery team. So their actual team full debut was in 1978 when the car was
wow.
first designed by Williams.
Great. 1 year out.
Ah,
Oh, I was
Do I
gonna
get the
say- I was
point
gonna
for
say that,
77
because
then?
One went 77, one went 78. I was gonna
Technically,
say
yes, you went.
78.
yes.
Yeah, technically for 77 you would get a
Owen
point.
wins again.
So, on to the third question. Ferrari, McLaren, and Williams are top 3 in all times with win list, but who was 4th and 5th to complete the top 5? And I want the
We
order.
said
Hang
Lotus
on.
was 5th, didn't we, earlier?
Oh, hang on. Read the question again.
Who's 4th
Ferrari,
and 5th?
McLaren, and Williams. Ferrari, McLaren, Williams are top 3 in the all-time win list.
Oh, it's got to be
But who is
Mercedes,
4th
then, isn't
and
it?
5th to complete
Mercedes
the
and
top
Lotus.
5?
I'm going Mercedes
That's
and
what I
Lotus.
expect.
Yeah, but Mercedes, what, 100?
Well, they've won like
100.
88. Yeah, they've won like
Say 100.
100. Yeah. And then there's 80.
There's got to be
that.
one.
Yeah, it's got to be
Fourth and
Mercedes and
fifth.
Lotus.
I don't
Gotta be.
what other teams are there?
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Renault.
Okay,
Grab
I'm
'em
just,
back in the
just
day,
before
but
you
they
start
didn't have the Grand Prix.
speculating, Steve will got it right. It is Mercedes and Lotus.
Really?
In that
Wow.
order. Yep.
Lotus.
So the order is
Yeah, no.
Ferrari,
Nice one, Steve.
McLaren, Williams, Mercedes, and Lotus.
What do you think over the
If I
last
may
6,
ask,
7
how
years, how many
far
they've
away-
won?
Yeah,
Yeah, they've won
yeah,
virtually
they've
every
won
Grand Prix, haven't they?
If-
I mean, in them 3 years of Rosberg and
Hamilton's
Hamilton,
won-
it was literally 1
Hamilton's
2 every
like-
race, wasn't it?
60 odd. What's he won
Yeah,
like
I'm gonna
69
say-
races?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he has, hasn't he? Of course he would have done. Christ.
He's
That
beaten
is,
Schumacher's record.
that is
of
domination.
Schumacher's record, I think.
What, races
Yeah.
for one team?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. And
Yeah, I
he's
think he
beaten
has. Yeah,
pole
'cause
record
Schumacher-
for one team as well, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, God. Yeah, he would have done. Well, yeah, because Schumacher won a lot with Benetton. In them 2 seasons,
Yeah.
he won the championship, didn't he? So, yeah, that's fair enough.
Let's try and stay on topic, lads.
Yep,
If we
no problem.
Can I
Owen, I
quickly
think you were
ask
about to
something?
say something. Yeah.
Yeah, no, can I say,
Go on.
can I ask, how far off are Mercedes from 3rd?
I don't actually know that. I
That's a good
believe
question,
they're
mate.
not too far
Fine.
off.
Yeah, can you...
I've just been given the questions. I'll do the second. I'll do the 4th question while you're searching it up. So, what team has the most race starts without a win?
Wow, that's a question.
So, most race starts without ever getting to the top step of a podium.
Oh, God.
It's not. I was about to say Sauber, but then they won with Robert
Yeah,
Kubica,
Sauber
didn't they?
Yeah,
Robert
yeah, they
Kubica
did,
in
didn't they?
2008. But then they're still Sauber's,
BMW,
that's a long
BMW
time.
Sauber.
It's still a long time for Sauber.
You could say someone like Minardi, I suppose, but they wouldn't have been in there that long, would they?
Yeah,
Without winning.
like a Force India or something, because they were around before they
Yeah,
had
it
to
could
change
be.
the racing
Can-
point.
how current? How are we talking like a really old team, or are we talking like a team that's in our, that we'd all remember?
Steve or definitely. I'm not sure how old Merckx is, but he said he was a recent viewer, so he might not know the team. And I'm not sure when Owen started, but he said about Lewis Hamilton's era, and I
Yeah,
can't
it was
remember when this
07.
team actually stopped. So yeah.
I'm trying to think of
Wait, say that
Tyrrell?
again, sorry?
Tyrrell.
Tyrrell?
Tyrrell had that fan car, though, didn't they?
They did though, didn't they? Yeah, Tyrrell was good in the back.
That
end.
one race.
Yeah, they probably would have won the race.
Tyrrell did win with Niki Lauda on their
Yeah,
debut
as
with
I
the
say,
fan
yeah.
car.
Fan car, yeah.
Did you say that they
Um,
stopped in 2007?
No, I'm not sure when they stopped,
Oh.
but I'm not.
Because
Half
I
of me
thought you
says
said
they
that,
were-
and I thought Minardi, but then I don't know
Yeah, I
how
said-
long
I
they've
said
been
Minardi.
doing it. Oh, did you?
It's not Minardi.
Yeah, I said Minardi.
Trying to think of teams. I've no idea.
Definitely.
It's hard, isn't it?
That's hard. Hang on, give us another minute.
Okay.
I'm old. I've got to try and get my memory working backwards now.
I have
Back
no
in the day,
idea.
wasn't it?
Who have they been going up against?
So the question is, who's done the most races without winning? There's got to be someone
Yeah.
that was in it for, because like you think like Force India, how long they've been in it. It's got to be someone who's been in it for like 6, 7 seasons, hasn't it, at least?
Would you like me to give you the number
What
of how
number?
many race starts they did without winning?
Go
Yeah,
on.
go on. Yeah, go on if you've got that.
383 starts
Wow.
without
They
winning.
can't be a-
So you look
There can't be there's got to be some decent, well-known team with 383
well-known,
starts. If Ferrari got
Even I know the
1,000.
team, and I didn't really watch them at the time. I don't think I
383
was born when they were.
Who
this
was?
is gonna pee me off once you tell me that.
Who would be up there? Who would have
annoy
been
me.
formed? Say someone like it wouldn't be someone like a Williams, obviously, but so a team like that, say a team around like a Williams were formed then, and then obviously they won, but
That is a tough
It'd be-
question. That is.
They never won in their entire history of being a team.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Never won what?
So
They never won in
it
the
must
entire
be-
history of being a team.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah,
It'd
but
be-
they've stopped now, haven't they? So they never will.
It
They
must
never
be
will win.
I believe they
383
stopped, or they
starts.
might have merged. I can't remember.
Well, no, someone would
300.
pull them out.
Minardi
That's what happens
merged.
to all the teams.
Yeah.
383 starts is a lot.
That's what I thought.
I'll give you another couple of guesses, and then
Go on then.
I'll
Give us a-
tell you the answer.
Can you give us a clue?
So we got nothing at the moment.
Yeah.
See, the problem is I don't know the team well enough myself to really give you a clue.
All right.
So that means it's going to be hard for most of us.
It's hard for me because when I first saw the answer, I was like, which team is that again? And then I quickly did some.
It's not a well-known
I did a quick.
team.
383 starts
May
is
not
still
be-
a lot though.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's
It may
a lot
not
of
be.
seasons.
It may not be known to me because, of course, I was born 2001, so I'm not exactly sure if I've ever actually saw this team race.
Oh, 383 starts is bugging me. That's a lot.
Have you
383
given up,
starts.
or
383 starts without ever winning a race. Yeah, I would have said
think they were-
Sauber if Robert.
I think they
if
were
Robert had
once
said one, but-
close in a very rainy race.
We got arrows, maybe.
No,
You
they-
got it. It's arrows.
It's Arrows. He didn't do that many
Arrows
races,
went
did they?
300.
Because Damon Hill nearly won with them. He joined them after winning the World Championship.
Arrows apparently
God.
did 383 races without ever
Oh my
winning.
God.
They were 2007, weren't they?
Arrows? No, 97. 97 they would have.
No, but I meant
They were
like that's when
started.
they were. 2007, they raced in
Yeah,
2007.
they're 10
didn't they?
years then. Yeah, but see,
Did
10
they?
years.
Arrows, yeah, because that's when.
To be honest, when I saw this, when I
Marcus
saw the actual answer,
Winkelhock
I was like,
almost,
like,
well, I was
huh.
in the lead.
I don't think they raced that many races, but
They were,
I'm
yeah,
going by
they-
clock.
Yeah, no, I would never thought
statistics
they'd done
judgment.
that many races.
383 starts. That's mad.
Yeah, that can't be right.
It might be
Well.
though, but
Could be,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
They started in 97 because Damon Hill joined them.
Alright,
Unless
next
there was something
question.
else before that.
yeah.
Alright,
I
we'll
don't
move
know.
on to the last question so
Yeah,
that we can end
we'll
the.
have Search that up. Go on then.
Oh my God.
Just-
No, he is right. They competed in Formula 1 between 1978 and 2002.
He's 78.
Scoring 9
Jeez.
podiums
Oh, they must
during
have
their
changed.
existence.
They must have changed in
91 Oh, they were
2002.
footwork. That's why. Between 91 and 96, they were known as footwork. And then they went back to Arrows, and that's when Damon Hill joined. There we go.
Well, that's
yeah,
what
there
she
you go.
saw.
Fair play. How can we
Last
question
question.
Clock?
Last question. Which one of the three teams has the most wins at the French Grand Prix? This is the big three we're talking about: Ferrari, Williams, and McLaren. Which one has the most wins at a French Grand Prix?
McLaren.
French
So David
Grand
says
Prix.
McLaren.
I was thinking that French Grand Prix. Prost was winning in a Ferrari though.
Magny-Cours in the
Oh yeah,
80s,
Magny
90s.
Cours. Oh yeah. To be fair, Schumacher won a lot.
It just says French Grand Prix, so
Schumacher won at least 7, if not 8 Grand Prix around there.
You go
Has anyone won 8 in one Grand Prix?
Hamilton. He's won it. Hamilton, hasn't he?
Where's
No?
he won 8
Oh
times?
no.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. That's a lot of
Actually,
wins,
I'm
isn't
trying
it?
to think. How many has Hamilton won the British Grand Prix? I don't know. But Schumacher won at least 7 times.
Yeah.
I'm sure at Magny Cours.
Yeah, he
Or-
probably did.
I reckon Hamilton's matched whatever records Schumacher did at Magny
Probably.
Cours.
He's matched most of his records, so he must.
Yeah.
No, he has. No, he has.
When
No,
he got the
he
big
has.
one,
He's
right?
done it-
This
he's
is-
done it this season. This
Yeah,
is-
I'm pretty sure he
Yeah.
won.
He won.
We
It
are
was
only
the
talking
most-
about
Hungary.
teams, lads. So
Hungary.
Was it?
that's
Yeah,
what it
Hungary.
was.
Yeah.
He hit 8 wins at Hungary, and I'm pretty sure Schumacher got 8 wins
that's it.
at Magny-Cours. So I reckon
I'm gonna try
it's
and get
Ferrari.
a final answer for the question, lads.
I reckon it's
But
Ferrari.
if Steve has gone for McLaren and Max has gone for Ferrari, I kind of feel like I
I
want
reckon
to
it's
just go for
Ferrari.
Williams just
You
to
got to go
even it
Williams,
out.
then, haven't you? Go on, then, go Williams.
Yeah.
Let's see who's right. One of us got to be right.
So, McLaren had 5 wins at a French Grand Prix.
It must be Ferrari, surely.
Williams had 8 at a French Grand Prix.
Wow.
Ferrari had 17.
Of course they did. Do you think louder? You think louder than that? Of course they would have done.
Prost when he went to
Yeah,
Ferrari.
Frost as well. Yeah.
Back in like Dijon and whatever they were. All those places.
So,
there was like
Ferrari
different tracks.
has actually had double the amount of wins that Williams has had at the French Grand Prix. So yeah, that has been Clock's quiz, hosted by Callum.
Hey.
Pat, what did you
Come
think?
back,
Did I do
Closs.
all right?
Nah, come back, Clock.
Yeah, come back, Clock. Yeah.
I think it was lacking personality.
It lacks the Swedish accent that that just makes it. Also, I just want to point out some grammatical errors and the fact that he couldn't spell constructors. He put constructors, like as in tar, as in TOURS, like constructors.
I was like,
And
constructors,
just a couple-
what? T-O-R? I was like, that's how you spell it.
Well, he speaks English a lot better than I speak Swedish.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So you can't knock him at all, really, can you? Anyone that speaks English as their second language does it better than I can speak theirs. So.
All right, let's end this podcast. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, my beautiful, wonderful co-host, Steve-O. Thank you
No
to my
worries.
honorary co-host, Owen, who just dominated the quiz today. And thank you to our driver of the week, Mercs, for joining us last minute.
Yeah. He could be a new honorary SidePod member now, after that.
If you ever want to join the
Dazzling
side
performance.
pod, you happily can join, mate.
No worries.
We're always welcome to have you,
Pleasure
mate.
to
Yeah, join whenever you want.
tag along.
So, thank you all for watching. I have been
Cheers.
Callum. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.